Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Hangtimes. I'm your host, Tom George. This is going to be almost like a Taylor Sheridan spin-off of the Hangout and the show that I provide you every fortnight with a guest, mainly because it's hard to organize guests. It's hard to organize schedules. Go figure. It's probably the hardest thing with recording a podcast, I would say. Editing takes time, but I enjoy it. I can do that at night. I can't organize guests at 10 p.m. at night because people have lives. So, to help with that, I want to do weekly release. And I also love to know what's happening in Australian climbing. So, I get to look into Australian climbing and then I get to tell you about it. There's so much cool shit happening in Australian climbing, and not that it gets missed, but it doesn't get its dues, you know? I want to highlight as much as possible. And I feel like a lot of the stuff goes under the radar, or, you know, there's climbers who are doing incredible things and people don't know their names. So if they don't want that to happen, we'll keep them under wraps. But some people don't like the media. But the people that do, I want to share their story. I want to share their experiences. And this is going to be the way that I do it, if they're happy for me to, I guess. But yeah, little spin-off series of the Hangout. Hopefully fortnightly, if I can keep up with that, or if I find enough news. So please, if you do have news in the Australian climbing scene, send it through to thehangoutclimb@gmail.com, and I'll sort through that and yeah, bring the news to the people. Or if you're doing cool ascents or anything like that as well, please send it through. Because, yeah, the more we can grow this awareness of Australian climbing, it's just going to grow the sport, yes, but I think just the people already in the sport's awareness of what's happening. I think that's the important thing. There's already a lot of people coming to the sport, and I don't know if we can control that. Maybe you guys saw Apex. So many people told me to watch Apex. You're a climber, watch Apex. I resisted for so long. I watched it. I didn't like it. You know, I kind of thought it was going to be a climbing movie, but it was like spoilers maybe. It was like it was about Apex predators, basically. Some dude hunting a chick. And there was a little bit of climbing in it. But that show, actually working at Bayside, that show made a busier week at Bayside. People coming in and be like, have you seen the climbing movie? That's what's brought me here. Which is kind of weird that this like massacre climbing show brought people climbing. But I guess what I'm trying to say is people are going to find their way into climbing through other avenues. And I don't know if we can stop that, but what we can do is create the information around the people coming into climbing. And there's cool stuff. I'm probably going to go through, you know, they're going to be short episodes, something like 10 or 15 minutes, depending on how much I ramble. I'm kind of learning to ramble a bit better. I'm not sure if that's interesting. But there's going to be some cool news. And I think the biggest thing to start off this week's episode is the incredible achievement, the one that I've been following for so long. It's so happy that it finally happened, is Oceana Mackenzie winning gold at Bern in Boulder. That's her second podium this year already. And there's only been 2 events. So she's leading the world climbing series in Boulder in first place. You know, we're only 2 events deep, and it doesn't matter how the end of the year looks, because this is already, this is the best year in Australian bouldering internationally on the circuit. Yes, I believe that is correct. There is another part of the show that I will talk about, and that's Sarah Larcombe's achievements in international circuit as well. But in terms of just Boulder, Oce has done the best. And that's bloody incredible. I remember when she won her first bronze last year. Or was it the year before? I think it was last year. I can't remember. Bad news show already. But that's okay. This year, she won a third place in Kikau. I don't know how to say that. Kikau in China. And first place at Bern. And what's cool, it's like it wasn't even a unstacked field, you know. All of the people were there, all of the people who have been winning, you know. Zelia Avazu, she won the comp before. She was there and has obviously been looking incredible. Brooke, Oriane, who else? I mean, yeah, she just beat a stacked field, and she was the only person to top women's one. That's fucking awesome. I hope we can see more of this year. Yeah, so a massive shout out to Ocean and the team behind Ocean, all the supporters that have allowed Australian climbing to get to where it is, because, yeah, that's our first gold on that circuit in ever. So that's pretty fucking awesome. Big support to you, Osh. Really, really cool to see where your journey takes you, and we'll be following along closely in the Hangtimes / the Hangout. And that's going to move to Sarah. So Sarah competed at Salt Lake Paraclimbing competition earlier this year, and she took silver. And that adds to her tally of world climbing medals, or IFSC sanctioned medals, to 11. So she's definitely the most decorated Australian comp climber with 11 medals. And that's fucking impressive as well. And that, you know, and we recently just had the inaugural paraclimbing nationals, I believe, at Urban Climbing Blackburn, with something like 22 competitors or participants. So to see the paraclimbing world grow and have the ability to do these kind of things, I think is awesome as well. You know, Angus Taylor's come on the show. If you haven't, that's a great episode to go back to learn about paraclimbing. It's something that, like, you know, it feels like I couldn't resonate with, so I barely watched it. And after speaking to Angus and hearing Angus's story, it's so fun to watch it now. It's so fun to be a part of it, because these are like some of the most inspiring climbers. These are some of the most inspiring people. So yeah, whenever the events happen, please go check them out and support the Aussie climbers doing it. Sarah is a phenomenal climber, and, you know, another friend of the show who I hope to come on soon is Glenn Todd. Big shout out to Glenn Todd. Lives quite local to me, so he'll be coming on the show, and I think he took 6th at the Salt Lake competition, which is, yeah, you know, also incredible. It's a world stage. This is on the world stage. Far out. It's so cool to see Australian climbing get that far, just in the comp scene. We've also got, you know, the two guys. We've got Dylan Parks and Max Thomas over in Europe at the moment, following the scene. Max is on his first world climbing series, and yeah, I think he's doing really well. It must be a shock to, you know, experience what the stage is like, or what the level is like on the international level. Couldn't imagine what some of those boulders are like. But yeah, it's a really good experience for the two guys, and following along on their little Instagram stories is fun too. So go check them out. Obviously, if you know of this show, I'm assuming you know of the people on the world circuit, but if not, that's what this is for. Now I want to drop it back to the outdoors. Something that happened back in March is Connor White's ascent of Shifting Sands. An awesome achievement. He repeated an unrepeated. Is that the way to say it? He climbed an unrepeated climb. He got the second ascent of Malcolm Matheson's Shifting Sands after 26 years. A hard test piece slab, which basically you have to become a master of rock climbing to climb it, it seems. I read his article in this month's issue of The Vertical Life, and it just seems like there's no holds. It just seems like you rely on friction and you rely on the climb allowing you to get up there almost. It's a 28 Mount Buffalo. Malk put it up early 2000s. So yeah, 26 years without a repeat. People have tried for sure, but both Connor and Rach were putting some time into it over the past year, I think. And yeah, Connor managed to get to the top of it, which is fucking awesome. The name Shifting Sands, if you read the article in Vertical Life, the name Shifting Sands basically comes to be because you're using these like micro crystals on granite to, you know, find you work your way up at like granite clusters, and you'll have your hold, you'll find your hold, you'll see your hold, and you look away for a second, say to your feet or something like that, you look back and the hold's gone. Like it's blended back into this infinite grain of sand of granite, and you have to find it again. Like there's just, it just must be so difficult. I can't wrap my hands around it. I'd love to hear Connor's words. So hopefully, yeah, he can drop some things down in the comments or speak about his experience on Shifting Sands, because like what an achievement. Not often in Australia that you get such an unrepeated line. I only first heard about it in Connor, Rach and Jake's episode where Rach was talking about it. And I mean, it's so crazy that, yeah, something so test piecey can stay that unrepeated for 26 years. You know, I think Buffalo's having its time at the moment. It's really growing into a location for Aussie climbers to go to. You know, Arc'teryx had Expose Festival there, which was awesome. I finally got to touch Buffalo granite. Yeah, it's becoming cool. I'd really like to go back out there. I don't know if I can climb Shifting Sands. I don't know if I want to try it. Maybe I'll top rope it. Connor, if you want to belay me on a top rope, I'll try it. But an incredible achievement by Connor, and incredible like show of commitment and dedication to repeating something that means so much to him by a climber that inspires him. And what that does for us is it passes the inspiration onto us. Yeah, that's cool. Inspiration is inspiring. Go figure. And maybe a last bit of news. If you do have news, please send it through. But the last bit of news is friend of the show, Cal Mather, cementing again another reason why he is one of the strongest boulderers in the country, putting up the first ascent of Death by Dawn, a V14 in the Grampians. I reached out to Cal about his ascent of Dead by Dawn, and I will read his response. Dead by Dawn is the direct exit to a classic V11 called Dead Heat in the Stapleton Amphitheatre. The rock has been smoothed out by wind over the years and makes for some really cool feature and textures to climb on. It was listed as a project in the 2016 guidebook, but I hadn't really heard of anyone trying it much. I've had a couple of sessions a year for the past few years, mainly just playing around on the crux out of the left pinch. This season, I found a foot clamp that unlocked the move and a cool karate kick that unlocked the end sequence. It took another few days of trekking up there solo to get it done. It was a really fun experience and was great to project something hard again after the last few months of finger injuries. Incredible achievement by Cal to put up a V14, which, you know, it's pretty rare to see those in Australia, so it's always really cool. Just such a beast. If you watch the beta video, Open Projects released the raw send of the footage. And I mean, Cal looks so strong in it. There's a karate kick that he does, which he says unlocked a lot of the sequence, and you can see why. And it's this massive swing kick all the way out to the left of screen, I guess, and just catches it with all of the tension and moves through it. It's, yeah, man, that's a strong climber. It's a strong dude. And he's called it Death by Dawn, V14. He's not far away from a 15, is he? God, that's going to be cool to see. a 15 first ascent in Australia? Maybe. I've got questions for him. I've definitely got questions for him. There has to be. Where is he? What's he doing? What a man. Cal, fucking awesome. He's coming back on the show in June. We're going to do a little, almost like a, if you guys like Careless Talk, which I love, we want it to be a bit more discussion based. And I mean, maybe I won't foreshadow too much, but he's coming back on with someone else. But yeah, if you have any more news, holla, let me know. Because I love finding out the news. I love reading about it. Vertical Life do a great thing with it. I think Grampians Climbing, shout out to you. I don't know your name yet, actually, but shout out because, yeah, you do a great job at highlighting and showcasing what gets done in the Grampians. And I would like to do it nationally. So please support the show however you can, but mostly just listen to it. Enjoy it. Kick back. I'm going to be bringing you hopefully 4 stories throughout the fortnight. I'm sure there's that much happening. We are coming into winter. Maybe it's going to slow down a bit. But hey, that's life. So I want to thank you all for listening to the first brief episode of the Hangtimes with your host, Tom George. And I hope you enjoy your day. I hope you all are enjoying your climbing. And I hope you all are feeling just that little bit more inspired to do what I already know you can achieve.
Basically, rock climbing became a way of